In 2012, millions of people around the world stopped what they were doing to watch a man jump from space. Not a movie, not a NASA mission. A man jumped from 128,000 feet above the earth.
I'm the guy who jumped from space.
Worked just perfect.
And the company behind that historic moment, not a space agency, not a government, it was an energy drink company called Red Bull. But here's the crazy part. Red Bull doesn't even manufacture the drink it sells. And yet today a multi-billion-dollar empire. Last year, Red Bull sold over 14 billion cans. That's enough to give almost every person on the planet a sort of caffeine. So, how did a company that doesn't make its own product become one of the most powerful brands in the world? The answer lies in one of the greatest marketing strategies in the business history. The Red Bull story begins in the 1980s. An Austrian businessman named Dietrich was on a business trip in Thailand. Like many travelers, he was suffering from extreme jet lag. A local colleague handed him a strange drink called Kreting Dang. Within minutes, the fatigue disappeared. Dietrich was shocked. The drink was created by Thai entrepreneur Chalio Yubedhya, but outside Thailand, nobody knew about it. Dietrich immediately saw an opportunity. What if the drink could be introduced to the Western world? Dietrich proposed the idea to Chalio, and in 1987, together they launched a new brand. They called it Red Bull. But there was a big problem. The drink tasted terrible. When Red Bull first entered Europe, people hated the taste. Many described it as liquid candy mixed with medicine. Most beverage companies would panic. But Red Bull didn't try to compete with taste. Instead, they changed the game entirely. Rather than selling a drink, they decided to sell a lifestyle of extreme energy, adrenaline, and adventure. And this is where their genius strategy began. Instead of spending money on traditional ads, Red Bull created something revolutionary. They began sponsoring extreme sports no one else cared about. For example, cliff diving, BMX biking, snowboarding, freestyle motocross, etc. Even they owned 2 Formula 1 teams, multiple football clubs, and hundreds of other athletes. They turned themselves into a media company. They created Red Bull Media House, a full-scale production company. They sell the footage to news outlets and streaming platforms. They have turned their marketing department into a profit center. Then they started creating their own events. One of the most famous is Red Bull Rampage. Another one is Red Bull Air Race. But the ultimate marketing stunt came in 2012. A mission called Red Bull Stratos. A skydiver named Felix jumped from the edge of space. Over 8 million people watched live on YouTube. It became one of the most watched live streams in internet history. Think about that. An energy drink company created one of the biggest scientific spectacles ever broadcast online. That's not advertising, that's storytelling. And here's the thing, get even more interesting. Despite being worth billions, Red Bull doesn't actually manufacture its drink. Most of the production is handled by a company called Roche. Red Bull focuses on something far more powerful, brand power. They don't spend billions building factories, they spend billions building attention. And that strategy worked. Today, Red Bull sells over 14 billion cans every year in more than 170 countries. But how did they get people to pay 3x the price of a soda for a drink that tasted like cough syrup? They used psychological pricing and some very dirty tricks. First, the can. They made it slim and tall to look like a premium utility rather than a soda. Then the legendary London trash story. Legend has it that when they launched in London, they didn't buy billboard. Instead, they filled trash cans around the popular nightclubs with empty Red Bull cans. When people walked by the next morning, they thought, wow, everyone must have been drinking this last night. It created an illusion of popularity before they would even sold a single case. Today, Red Bull is valued at over $18 billion, but the company didn't win by making the best drink. It won by building one of the most powerful brands on the planet. They turned marketing into entertainment, advertising into adventure, and a simple caffeinated drink into a global symbol of extreme performance. Because in the end, Red Bull isn't really selling a beverage, they are selling a feeling, and that feeling gives you wings. So, next time you see that blue and silver can, remember you are not just buying a drink, you are funding a space jump, a racing team, and a media empire. If you enjoyed this breakdown of the world's most unique business model, hit that subscribe button. And let me know in the comments, do you actually like the taste of Red Bull or are you just here for the wings?